I don't know where to look.
I need your help.
I don't know where to look. Anakin has turned to the sweating side.
You're wrong. How could you even say that?
I have seen a security hologram of him
Sweating.
Not Anakin. He couldn't. You're going to kill him, aren't you?
Possibly. He has become a very great pathetic life form.
Obi-Wan was right.
I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan.
I love Obi-Wan.
Because of Obi-Wan.
Because Obi-Wan.
I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan.
You're with him! You turned her against me!
You have done that yourself!
You turned her against me!
You have
Turned her against me!
You're sweating. Relax.
I have brought freedom, peace, security, freedom, and justice, and freedom, justice, and security, and peace to my new empire.
Your new...
And peace, freedom, and security, justice, peace, and
sound.
to my new empire.
Your new empire?
always on the move. Another happy landing.
Master Yoda.
Another happy landing.
I hear a new apprentice you have, Emperor. Or should I call you Emperor? Or should I call you Darth Apprentice? Or should I call you New?
Always on the move. Another happy landing.
You will not stop me. You will stop me.
Yeah, take this.
I sense Lord Vader is stunted slime.
Would Brie Larson work out? Is that like a personal attack or something?
The movie opens with the usual Marvel logo, but instead of all the heroes, it shows Stan Lee cameos from the Marvel films. It was a nice touch, and it follows on with saying, "Thank you, Stan," which is well-deserved and kind. Unfortunately, the film begins after that. We wake up with Captain Marvel, or, well, Veers, or, well, I mean, her name is Carol Danvers, but I think it'll be more suitable for this assessment to simply refer to her as Plank. Plank wakes up in a futuristic alien world called Hala. The idea is that it's the hub world of the Kree, who are the good guys, and she is one of the Kree. Maybe. She wakes up Jude Law, the guy who plays the young version of Dumbledore in the new films, let's call him Youngledore, and asks to spar with him. She gets her ass kicked, and he keeps telling her that she is letting her emotions get the better of her. Or, scratch that, it's more like using the powers would be using your emotions, and she will fail if she does that, and so she uses her emotions and wins. Okay. Like, she gets this second wind and blasts him with her emotion beams despite his orders not to. You go, girl. As punishment, she's sent to the Supreme Intelligence. Oh, sorry, I should back up. The Supreme Intelligence is like the AI boss of the Kree. No, I have no idea how that works or why it works that way, though it sounds really interesting to explore, to be honest. On top of this, the Kree apparently gave Plank her shooty powers via a neck patch, but also choose to instruct her to use it wisely before allowing her to go on any missions. Alright then. It's a bit weird that they would give her power she can't control, probably something else going on there, I guess we'll find out. So Plank talks to the AI, and the AI says she's too emotional, which is interesting. I don't know how one would discern that from a Plank. The AI then says Plank is ready to serve according to Youngledore, and she says she hopes she doesn't disappoint, which means this is her first mission, correct? Especially considering they're telling her what the Skrulls are, which I assume is more so for our benefit, but yeah, this is probably her first mission. Either way, the Skrulls act as infiltrators and they take over planets one by one, taking the form of the most powerful members of the population until they sweep over the entirety. And so we get our super slow hero walk with our team of warriors. Next up is a neat bit of back and forth between the group of Kree warriors, almost teasing that they'll have characters, but they don't. Keep that in mind, I'm not done with it yet. You might be asking why I've skipped over Plank's position in Hala, or how the place functions, or why she's there, or who the people she cares about there are. What drives her? Why does she choose to fight in a war? Well, these would be things that tell us something about her character, and the writers decided it would be better to ignore that part of writing and skip to the mission briefing. So, the plan is to rescue an undercover guy from a planet that the Skrulls have started invading, and they need to get to him first because he has important information. Smurf Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy is going to bomb a Skrull stronghold while our team infiltrates the base and rescues the dude. Digimon Hansuo is in her crew of Kree. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy as well.
Who?
I guess this is before he got robotified. I bring this up because it would be cool to know how he went from a Kree soldier to a strict robotic acolyte of Smurflord, but he does fuck all in the whole movie, so I won't be mentioning him again. To get to their location, they used the same fast travel ability we saw in Guardians, so that's a neat bit of continuity. Maybe I'm bringing that up because it'll be relevant later. We also see Plank put a weird kind of helmet on. I imagine this is to account for the harshness of space or just places that lack an oxygen source, like underwater. That's neat too. She can't just survive in space, she actually needs these things to live. I wonder if I'm highlighting that for a specific reason too. During the operation, our team's communications short out and an ambush ensues. They are forced to engage separately and the Skrulls capture Plank. She was tricked into thinking she was rescuing the target, but instead it was indeed a Skrull, and he zaps her, knocking her out. Unfortunately, the rest of the team were forced to retreat back to their ship and cut to black. Then we get what is probably the laziest attempt at rushing a background to a character I have ever seen. Plank is in a machine that is trying to access her memories because in her memories is something the Skrulls want. The first memory is of her friend preparing to fly with her, and she says this:
"Got to show these boys how we do it."
You go, girl. We then see a moment in Plank's history where a mean boy told her she should go slower while turning corners, and thus she speeds up only to crash. After that, her dad tells her she doesn't belong out there, and he shouts this at her despite the fact that she probably needs to go to the emergency room. What a guy. Then we slam into a moment of her training for the Air Force, and a group of mean men are heckling her, ending with a man saying, "They will never let you fly." Then we jump right over to another guy saying, "She's a decent pilot, but she's too emotional," finishing his sentence with, "You know why they call it a cockpit, don't you?" I mean, a lot of this shit is actually in the trailers, by the way.
It won't last a week. They'll never let you fly. This isn't a game for little girls. Give it up!
It then jumps into Plank dancing and singing with someone. This means she has friends. Then we see someone telling her about space when she was a kid. This means she would like to explore space. And then we see her hanging out with the friend's kid, which means she's friends with the kid too. So in case you missed it, Plank is told throughout her life by men that she's not where she should be and that she will fail because she's emotional, while having strong, healthy relationships with friends who she cares about and an interest in space, and she always pushes forward even when told not to. And that was crammed into 8 different flashbacks over just about 2 minutes. No context, progression, or insight, just a meme's worth of explanation of what the fuck's even going on. This is giving me character development whiplash. Finally, she has a memory of speaking to Science Lady, and apparently the Skrulls that are searching through her memories wanted that one specifically, in order to find out who Science Lady was and where Science Lady's secret space lab is. From the meta, it's fucking embarrassing and lazy to rush development like this, but as an in-world memory memory-exploring device, it makes no sense at all. You're telling me that they wanted to find the name of Science Lady in her secret lab, and their machine is so horrifically inaccurate that they bounced from age 8 to 30 several times and finally landed on exactly what they wanted? I mean, it gets even worse. They managed to find a memory where Plank was heading to the secret lab, and she just so happens to have the coordinates on her screen. Sadly for the Skrulls, they can't figure out what to do with those coordinates, and that will be relevant later. Regardless, she regains consciousness without the futuristic alien scientists or their machine managing to pick it up in time, and this gives her the upper hand. Okay. She breaks out, but she's stuck with what are essentially binds on her hands, but she still manages to beat the crap out of all the aliens in the place while having moments of what I assume is comedy. Didn't they do this joke in The Mummy? And then to go even earlier, it's kinda from Willow. Apparently none of the Skrulls have the zappy thing from earlier to be able to stop her. Oh, scratch that. They do have them, but it doesn't do anything for no reason. Like at one point, 3 of them hit her with electric shit at once, and she's still conscious. Okay, so Plank runs around for a while, and when feeling like she's about to be defeated, she gets a second wind and breaks her restraints off, allowing her to once again beat all of the aliens. This has been very nail-biting. As a result of beating the crap out of everybody, the ship begins to fall apart, and before she is sucked into space, she blasts her way onto the ship. She also reformed her mask when losing oxygen. Again, that's good. Huh. I'm pretty sure I'm setting something up here. Plank then goes back into the memory room and finds the screen is playing the clip of that guy saying, "You know why they call it a cockpit, don't you?" And so she uses her powers to smash the screen. You go, girl. We then see a Skrull warrior enter an escape pod and release into Earth's orbit. I wonder if his ship was detected or found by Earth, and whether or not that changes our understanding of technology or alien life. But maybe I shouldn't talk about that just yet. Plank then jumps into a Skrull ship and she's able to pilot it immediately. I guess that's her power. She's a really good pilot.